This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Last night on SmackDown, we saw the Street Profits take out Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, leaving the LWO one member short for tonight's six-man tag. Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar were in the back talking when Rey Mysterio said, I need to make a phone call. Who did Rey Mysterio call? Who will be their mystery opponent in this six-man tag? We're going to talk about that right after this. So join us, shall you? Yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back on the Big Time. This is Big Time Rants right here on the Value of Wrestling YouTube channel. And I thank you for joining me on this Fastlane Saturday. Yes, I got some breaking news. Got a lot of stuff coming out today, and we're going to break it all down. But first, let's talk about who is Rey Mysterio making a phone call to? Who is Rey Mysterio looking or reaching out to become the third partner to the LWO? Yes, tonight, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar are going to team up with a mystery opponent to take on Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits after last night's attack by the Street Profits, leaving Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde out of action for tonight. So Rey Mysterio had to make a phone call. Who could have Rey called up? Who could have Rey dialed up? Well, there are several names being thrown around and several names that are out there that would make for very interesting partners. Now, one of the big names is Carlito Caribbean Cool. Carlito was with them, being part of the LWO when they did the Backlash event in Puerto Rico. We saw Carlito there. He came out in the LWO colors. He helped out. Then we also saw Savio Vega. So those are two names that are definitely, you could look at. Carlito being the biggest name out there that Rey Mysterio is going to call up Carlito. There's been a lot of talk about Carlito returning to the WWE over the last several months after his Royal Rumble appearance. And then, of course, at Backlash, he was there in the Puerto Rico and helped out there. So it could definitely be Carlito. That would probably be a very, very safe bet. That would probably be an easy bet, if you ask me. Savio Vega might be an option. He was a part of the LWO during that event at Backlash. Might not be as likely, but definitely a name you could throw out there. So, could it be Carlito? Could it be Savio Vega? What do you think? What about another man that Rey Mysterio thinks very highly of? Another man that Rey Mysterio calls the future of luchador, future luchador, or the future of lucha libre. Yes, we're talking about the one and only Dragon Lee. Yeah, the Dragon's been making his name well known on the main roster across NXT, across Raw, and across SmackDown. He is showing up everywhere and is getting a big push by WWE, it seems like. And Rey Mysterio is a big fan of Dragon Lee. Could Dragon Lee be inserted as the third member of this team? Now, why would you call Dragon Lee if he's in the building with you that night? Don't know. Doesn't necessarily make sense. But we could definitely see Dragon Lee show up to team up with Rey Mysterio and help them out, which could even continue the storyline between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, because I believe the future is them two crossing at the WrestleMania, possibly for the U.S. title. So it'll be very interesting if they decide to add Dragon Lee in there to continue the story between Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio Jr. But could it be Dragon Lee that Rey Mysterio is reaching out to? Could Dragon Lee be teaming up with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits tonight? Another name, not very likely, but an option, something that could be interesting, would be Conan. We haven't seen Conan in a WWE ring in a long, long, long time, not since at least the Hall of Fame, but in a wrestling capacity, I don't know if we haven't seen him since back in the days where he dressed up like a character known as Max Moon and was not very happy with it afterwards. But Conan, one person that brought Rey Mysterio when he was a youngster into the world of professional wrestling. Could Conan get back in the ring for one match, one night, one show only? Could be interesting. He was a mentor to Rey Mysterio, and a big reason why Rey Mysterio is in the wrestling business today, and why Rey Mysterio is as big as he is in the wrestling world today. But Conan, an old friend of Rey Mysterio, definitely somebody Rey Mysterio could dial up and say, "Hey, we need your help." Conan would be a great option. It could be entertaining. He may not be the best wrestler or be in the best shape to do it, but it could be very interesting to see Conan in the WWE teaming up with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar tonight. And tonight is Fastlane. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Fastlane Saturday. And we are getting ready right here at the Value Wrestling, preparing ourselves for tonight's event, which we will also do a live review right after Fastlane is over. We will let you know the time once we know more, once the pay-per-view ends. But Who else could Rey Mysterio be dialing up? What about an old friend to Rey Mysterio? Somebody Rey Mysterio has deep history with in the WWE. What about a man that's name has been rumored about returning to WWE, wanting to return to WWE, but also not necessarily interested, depending on which way you go with it. There's been rumors on both ends. But what about Batista? What if tonight was the return of Batista to WWE? What if it's a one-night only shot? What if it's something that's going to be special? But Rey Mysterio and Batista have a long history. We're really good friends in WWE. They had great matches with each other and against each other. But what if Rey Mysterio was calling up Batista for Batista to return at Fastlane to help out against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits? It would really balance out the team and make them look like a viable threat going up against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits if Batista was the man they're calling in. Now, there's been rumors circulating back and forth that Batista wants to come back. Batista wanted to come back for WrestleMania, but Batista's open to the idea. But again, there's also rumors speculating that Batista's pretty much done. He's kind of retired. He doesn't really have a whole lot of interest. But money talks, and a good storyline will always be there. So if they could come up with something and get in Batista's interest to come back and have the right dollar amount, you never can say never. It could be very interesting to see Batista teaming up with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar tonight against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Could possibly happen. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. What if it's Kevin Nash? What if it's the NWO co-founder, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, formerly known as Diesel in WWE? But what if Kevin Nash, the master behind the Wolfpack, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the one and only Kevin Nash. What if he was the mystery opponent that Rey Mysterio is calling up to come help? Now, Kevin Nash looks like he's been in really good shape out of the ring. Hasn't been in ring action. I don't think Kevin Nash has any desire to get in the ring, but it could be interesting if he come in, took a few small little bumps, but could be a viable threat against Bobby Lashley. If Kevin Nash were to jump back in the ring and team up with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, that would really be a whole different dynamic. Now, Rey Mysterio and Kevin Nash were both in WCW together on opposite sides, but there are some history between Kevin Nash and Rey Mysterio. What about another former WCW superstar? What about another big name that came out of WCW that's looking to come back for one more round, one more shot, and somebody who's been asking for a retirement run? What if this is the night he came back to go on that retirement run, where he could retire with a big match at WrestleMania and go off into the sunset on his horse and call it a day? What if it's Goldberg? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what if it's Bill Goldberg? What if Bill Goldberg is the one Rey Mysterio is reaching out to? Now, Goldberg and Lashley have a history. I think they have some unfinished business. It could definitely be interesting to see Goldberg come back one more round, one more shot, come back in as the old gunslinger himself to come into WWE. He could start right here at Backlash, continue through Survivor Series, possibly put himself in the Royal Rumble, and then head out to WrestleMania where he could have a big-time match and possibly end his career there, get the send-off he's been asking for. He really wants a retirement tour. We're kind of surprised that there hasn't been more talks about him possibly being in AEW. There's a lot of comparison between Wardlow and Goldberg, where Wardlow and Goldberg could work together really well, maybe do something, but maybe that ship's passed. But what if Goldberg was to show up back in WWE tonight at Backlash to team up with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar? Wouldn't that mean a mind-blowing, popping sensation? Wouldn't that definitely throw it down for WWE if they went out and got Goldberg? Now, you don't always need to go get a big old-timer and a veteran to bring him in to get a big pop, but it would be an interesting dynamic to this match. Another name that we should definitely be looking at is a returning wrestler, somebody that we've seen working out at the Performance Center, someone who seems to possibly be cleared, someone who could be on his way back to the WWE finally, somebody we've been begging to return to the ring, somebody we've been dying to see return to the ring. Now, unfortunately, his former tag team partner is no longer with the company, but what if it is the one, the only, the Viper, the Legend Killer? What if it's the master of the RKO? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one, the only, Randy Orton. What if Randy Orton's finally cleared? What if Randy Orton is finally able to get back in the ring, and tonight he comes back? Tonight we get the return of Randy Orton. Tonight we hear voices in my head. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, would not the crowd blow up? Would this not rattle the roof off the arena? Could Randy Orton be the man that Rey Mysterio is reaching out and dialing up to say, hey, I need some help? Randy Orton could get in there and mix it up with Bobby Lashley, could help the Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar look like a big, viable threat with the return of Randy Orton. this would be huge. This would be tremendous, and this would definitely set up some options moving forward because we could get Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley, and this could definitely be a great feud to go back and forth on for both men moving forward, especially with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits forming this newer faction that looks like they're going to be heels. So we're definitely going to have to see what happens. But could it be Randy Orton tonight? Could Randy Orton make his in-ring return? Could this be the new storyline for Randy Orton? Could he help out Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar? Do you want to see Randy Orton come back as a babyface, or do you want to see Randy Orton come back as a heel? I think at this point in his career, I think it's more entertaining and enjoyable to see him as a babyface. I don't know if I need to see him come back as a heel, but man, would it not be a great night for Randy Orton to make his comeback, for Randy Orton to join up with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar to take on Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits at Fastlane. 6-man tag tonight. A lot of talking about, lots going down. What do you all think? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Are there names that you think that I didn't mention tonight would be good partners for Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar? Is there somebody way out there that we don't even have on our radar that could possibly show up tonight and change the course of the world of professional wrestling forever? Who knows? But drop your comments, your thoughts below, because we always enjoy reading your comments and hearing your opinions. But while you're also at it, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscription button because you want to become part of the Value of Wrestling family. And with your subscription, you become part of this family and you become part of the growth of the Value of Wrestling, where you're going to shoot us into the future and where we're going to become the revolutionary force in sports or pro wrestling podcasting. And it's you that it's going to make that possible. Also, while you're there, subscribe and make sure you ring that bell for notifications so when any new videos come up, because there's going to be a couple videos coming out today, so you want to have that bell ringing when we start putting out new videos. Also, when we go live tonight after Fastlane, you want to make sure that bell's ringing so it'll alert you and let you know, hey, we're live, and you can jump into live, jump in the chat, and join us as we break down everything that went down at Fastlane tonight. We'll be doing that, and then tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be back. The Value of Wrestling will be back live on air, where we review the whole week of professional wrestling. We will be bringing you the Value of Wrestling's weekly roundup, where we will break down everything that's gone down in the world of professional wrestling this week, from every show, every event, news, stories, everything that's been breaking, because there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of news going on right now, and we can't wait. So join us tonight after Fastlane. Make sure you're watching Fastlane tonight, because anything is possible on the big time. This is the Value of Wrestling. Until the next episode, I thank you for joining us and hope to see you again real soon.